Obiora was the kind of man who turned heads before he even stepped into a room. Tall, broad-shouldered, and impeccably groomed, his presence exuded power and grace in equal measure. Every feature of his face was carved with such perfection, it was as if the gods had sculpted him by hand. Obiora was not just a man of breathtaking looks, he was a titan of wealth and influence. He owned estates that stretched farther than the eyes could see, drove luxurious cars and walked with the quiet confidence of a man who knew he commanded empires. His name alone opened doors, sealed deals, and silenced rooms. From oil to real estate, from tech ventures to international business, everything he touched turned to gold. Yet, it was not just his wealth or looks that made Obiora irresistible. It was his self-discipline. Unlike other rich men who flaunted their excesses, Obiora was a man of restraint. He drank sparingly, spoke thoughtfully, and carried himself with an old-world nobility that set him apart. He was refined yet powerful, gentle yet commanding. Women admired not just his riches, but his rare combination of strength and principle. Ladies flocked around him like bees to nectar, their laughter rising like music whenever he passed. At events, they dressed to impress, wearing their finest lace and brightest smiles, hoping to catch his eye. From high society gatherings to quiet evening galas, Obiora was the man they all whispered about, the prize every woman hoped to claim. They lingered near him, found excuses to touch his arm, and hung on his every word. To them, he was not just a man, he was the embodiment of every romantic fantasy, and every woman wanted to be the one he chose. Obiora was a giver by nature, generous to a fault when it came to the woman he loved. For the one who held his heart, no luxury was too grand, no gesture too extravagant. He didn't just buy gifts, he created moments. But behind that generosity was a guarded heart. All of this he did for the one he loved, but his heart was broken. He learned his lessons in a hard and painful way, but still he desired to get married. His heart filled with confusion with what to do, but he didn't know how. He wanted to settle down and raise his family. He had watched people change their faces like masks, had seen women play roles so convincingly he often wondered if they were actresses in disguise. Around him, pretense was a currency, smiles rehearsed, gestures calculated. It became hard to tell who loved him, and who loved the life he represented. And so, he waited, patiently and carefully, for a partner, not a performer. A woman who saw Obiora the man, not Obiora the legend. Someone who could walk beside him barefoot in the rain with the same pride she would carry herself wearing pearls at a gala. Someone real. Christmas came and he traveled to his hometown to have a good time with family and friends. One afternoon, Obiora was behind the wheel of his sleek black Mercedes, driving down a quiet, tree-lined road in the village. He wasn't in a hurry. He was only enjoying the quietness of his hometown. Then, without warning, a small red ball bounced into the road. He instinctively eased his foot onto the brake, smooth, controlled, but what truly stopped him wasn't the ball. It was her. She ran after it. A dark-skinned beautiful lady, barefoot, laughing, radiant. The moment she dashed onto the road, time seemed to bend. The world slowed to a hush, even the wind paused to watch. Their eyes met. Obiora gripped the steering wheel a little tighter, his breath caught in his chest. She looked up, and in that single second, something shifted. Her deep, dark eyes held him like they'd known each other in another life. She was stunning. Her skin was the color of smooth, sun-kissed ebony, flawless and glowing like polished gold in the afternoon light. Her hair was an untamed crown of coily black curls that danced in the breeze, framing her face with regal elegance. Her features were bold and breathtaking. She wore a simple yellow sundress that clung to her in all the right places, fluttering with every step. Obiora stared helplessly, his heart thundering louder than the engine still running beneath him. She scooped up the ball, tossed a quick smile over her shoulder, and began to jog back to her father's compound, but just before she disappeared behind the iron gate of a modest compound, she looked back. One more glance, one more silent moment. Obiora sat motionless, still parked in the middle of the road, utterly shaken. It wasn't just attraction, it was recognition. As if the universe had whispered, "There she is." He didn't know her name. He didn't know where she came from. But in that one stolen gaze, he knew one thing for sure. His life would never be the same with her. Obiora drove home with the thoughts of the beautiful lady he had just seen filled in his heart. He told his mother about her. "That must be Amaka, the beautiful daughter of Mr. Okoye. My dear, everyone in this village has been talking about that girl's beauty and how big she has grown since they came back to this village." Obiora told his mother that he likes her and would love to know her more. The next day, he drove to their compound and introduced himself to Amaka's parents. They welcomed him into their home, and that was the beginning of something beautiful. Their friendship blossomed. Amaka is a beautiful young lady who loves the good things of life. She is so beautiful. Obiora took good care of her and provided for her every need. He bought her a car, moved her from the hostel to her own apartment in school where he would freely visit her. He even took over paying her school fees in school, and this particular act made her parents so happy. Obiora proposed to her, her bride price was paid, and they were already preparing for their wedding when tragedy struck. Obiora in one day lost almost all he had labored for. His goods worth billions sank into the sea. He was owing the bank and they came and took his mansion. Friends tried to help him, but the amount he lost was so much that his friends were shocked and didn't know he was worth that much. Obiora became devastated. He was able to sell some of his luxurious cars to raise money for a one-room apartment. As if he was not going through enough, he was scammed of the little money he had. He now depended on his siblings and parents for food, as he hoped that his second goods would arrive safely in a few months' time. Amaka stood by her husband and gave him all the support he needed. She had just graduated from school and was helping him from the money he gave to her when all was well with him. Tragedy struck again when his agent called and informed him that the second goods had been seized by the customs service. Obiora screamed in shock and slumped. Thank God Amaka was around and took him to the hospital. That was what saved his life. Obiora lived his life in pain. He couldn't believe that in just a twinkle of an eye everything he labored for went down the drain. His friends stopped helping him. The shock had affected him and he lost his sense of stability. He became a vegetable and totally depended on his wife for survival. Amaka was heartbroken. I can't continue like this, she cried out to him. How can a man be extremely rich today and tomorrow he can barely feed himself? This suffering is too much and I am too young for this life. She called her parents and told them of her intention to quit the marriage. Her father supported her intentions, but her mother pleaded with her to be patient. Obiora cried and begged her not to leave him, but she refused. To her, they were not legally married, so getting a divorce won't be hard. Obiora's parents pleaded with her, but she refused. Papa, I love Obiora, but I can't love him more than I love myself. The stress is too much for me. I am married but single. Amaka, but you were here when all was well for him. Why do you want to leave him now that he needs you? Obiora's father shouted at her. Papa, I never asked him to take care of me. Please. A day was scheduled for her family to return the bride price paid on her head. Obiora's family continued to plead with Amaka to have a change of heart, but her mind was made up. Her parents told them that Amaka was too young for that level of suffering and they do not wish their beautiful daughter to be in such pain. After collecting back their bride price, Amaka's father suggested something to them. Since you people are so interested in getting a wife from my family and Amaka has refused, maybe you people should marry her younger sister instead. Obiora's father looked at him with shock. Okoye, how will she accept to marry her elder sister's husband? He asked. My brother, you don't have to worry about that. She doesn't have a choice. She must marry him. After all, she is useless to us. Amaka's mother also agreed with her husband and told them Nkem would marry Obiora. Just then they called Nkem and told her what their visitors were there for. Nkem is Amaka's cousin, the only child of her parents. Her father is Okoye's elder brother. She started living with them after her parents died in their sleep years ago. After her parents' burial they took her in to live with them. Okoye took over all her father's properties and businesses and still couldn't send her to school. She became their housemaid. Nkem cried and said she was not interested, but Amaka's parents threatened to throw her out if she refuses to marry Obiora. Nkem insisted and told them that it was better they throw her out than for her to marry a vegetable in place of a husband. What sort of suffering is this? She cried. How am I supposed to be with him as my husband in this condition? But her guardians insisted. They even started beating her in front of their visitors. So Amaka's bride price was returned and was used to pay Nkem's bride price. She immediately packed her clothes and followed them home. Immediately Nkem saw Obiora. She cried. She wept. For days she couldn't eat or drink anything. Every night she would lie down on her bed with her face facing the wall, and no matter how bad Obiora cried out in pain, she wouldn't answer him or pay him any attention. Sometimes he would struggle to touch her, but she would push him away in pain. She threatened to leave, but Obiora's parents told her that she would have to pay them back their bride price before leaving. At some point she put herself together and accepted that this is what life has got to offer her, so she resumed her duty as a wife to Obiora. She wholeheartedly took care of him, hoping that soon he would die and she would be free. Every morning she would bath him, feed him, change his clothes and wash the dirty ones. She cooked his meals according to his doctor's instructions and made sure they never missed any doctor's appointment. Meanwhile, 2 months after leaving home, Amaka and her siblings visited Obiora and his wife. Amaka laughed at her and told her that it's an opportunity for her to leave Obiora and look for a healthy and wealthy man that would take care of her and provide for her needs. Obiora wept as he saw Amaka. He couldn't speak well, but he struggled and warned her never to come to his house again, but Amaka laughed at him and left. That night Nkem cried so much. Amaka's visit changed her mood and made her so sad. Obiora tried to touch her and console her, but he couldn't. He is a sick man and couldn't do much, but seeing Nkem cry broke his heart and made him shed tears. Nkem continued to take care of Obiora. She would take him out for sightseeing, take him to the saloon to have a haircut, read his favorite novels to him. Nkem made him smile. She made him realize that it was not over for him. She gave him hope. She challenged him to always take those little steps and aspire for healing. For every milestone he crossed, Nkem would cheer him up and call his parents and relay to them. Nkem no longer harbors the thought of him dying. All she wished for him was total healing. Gradually his health started to improve. He moved from scrabbling words to speaking words that one can hear. He started attempting to move on his own. Nkem was at home one day when a delivery man delivered some packages to them. It was from Obiora's parents. They got her a phone, clothes, and shoes. She wondered how they knew her shoe size. Obiora's parents were so happy and appreciated her so much. Nkem started to see life with Obiora as a possibility. She loved the way he looked out for her even in his sick state. The way he calmly talked to her. He was always trying to help her do chores and would tell her to rest whenever he noticed she was overworking herself. One day Obiora's parents invited them for dinner in their home. Nights like this do not really make Nkem happy because she goes through stress trying to get Obiora dressed and getting him to the car, but his parents sent his brother and sister who came and did the whole job for her. All she did was to bath him. At dinner everyone was around. There was more than enough to eat. Then it was time for movies and Nkem helped in taking the dirty plates to the kitchen. As she stepped out from the kitchen she saw Obiora on his knees in front of the kitchen holding a golden ring and asking her to be his wife. Nkem was shocked. How did you get here? How did you manage to kneel down? What is happening here? Then she looked around and saw his family and friends. Obiora, I don't understand this, but we are already married. Nkem, it was a marriage you were forced into, but now I am officially asking you by myself to be my bride. Nkem cried, then stretched out her finger and collected his ring. Obiora then explained to her that he was never sick. I only pretended all of this to find my one true love. When I was with Amaka, I saw through her. I never had a problem with her extravagant lifestyle because she is a woman and once the money is there then it should be spent. I was only scared of whether she truly loved me or my money, so my family and I came up with this plan of me forming broke and you Nkem came into my life. I have been betrayed before, so I was only being very careful. I was heartbroken at the way she left me when I needed her the most. But you Nkem stayed, you pushed all your pain aside and made sure I am always happy. I choose you, Nkem. The woman who saw me at my weakest and loved me with her strongest. I vow to protect you, honor you, and spend every moment making you the happiest woman alive. Nkem in tears told Obiora her life story, including all her parents' properties that her uncle and his family took from her. Her uncle was shocked the day Obiora took Nkem to see them. They couldn't believe that the young man whom they all called sick and rejected is back to life. Obiora took legal steps to recover Nkem's inheritance from her uncle, and justice was served. Okoye was forced to return every single property, every document, and every kobo that belonged to Nkem. The court ruled in her favor, and she forgave but never forgot. She simply walked away with grace, her head held high and her husband holding her hand. Nkem returned to school with a renewed sense of purpose and studied her dream course. Obiora spared no expense on her education, ensuring she had everything she needed and more. As for Amaka, life taught her a bitter lesson. The men she sought, wealthy and flashy, only treated her as an ornament. They never stayed. They never truly loved her. Eventually, she realized she had let go of a diamond in pursuit of glitter. Meanwhile, Obiora and Nkem's love blossomed in the most beautiful way. Nkem stared into his eyes and said to him, I never thought love would find me in the ashes of pain. But it did, through you. You've given me back everything I lost and more. I choose you today and always. Then they kissed. Their kiss sealed a bond that not even time could break. The story teaches that 1. Loyalty shines brightest in darkness. Anyone can love you when you're rich and powerful, but only the truly loyal will stay when everything crumbles. 2. character over charm. Outer beauty and wealth may attract attention, but it's inner strength, humility, and compassion that sustain love. 3. Pain reveals true hearts. Life's trials often uncover who's real and who's just there for the benefits. 4. Love is proven through action. Real love is not just said, it's shown through care, sacrifice, and consistency. 5. Fate rewards the pure-hearted. Those who love sincerely, without expectation of reward, often find unexpected blessings. 6. Never underestimate the overlooked. Sometimes, the person society ignores is the one with the greatest strength, loyalty, and love. 7. Wealth can attract many, but suffering reveals the few who matter. Thank you for listening to my story. I am Amaka of Amaka's Folktales. If you are coming across my channel for the first time, please subscribe to my channel to support my growth. To my subscribers, thank you so much for your massive support. I don't take this for granted. I really appreciate you all. Do not forget to put on your notification bell for more interesting stories from Amaka's Folktales. See you next time.